Playing the bus. Well, it looks like he's in a garage.
Mr. Cooper, you ready to start the meeting?
Yes, I am, matter of fact.
So I'm calling this meeting to order. Would you please rise and follow along with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag. The United States.
Madam Clerk, we get a roll call vote, please.
Benton.
Here.
Denham. Cooper.
Here.
Milton.
Here.
Howden.
Here.
Rodriguez. LeBlanc.
Here.
Your Honor, you have a quorum, and let the record show Alderman Cooper is joining us electronically, virtually.
Hi, Clay.
Hello.
So, item number 1 is a resolution of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Branson setting forth the facts and reasons for the necessity to amend and increase the city's annual budget for fiscal year 2023. Hillary?
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Branson, Missouri, setting forth the facts and reasons for the necessity to amend and increase the city's annual budget for fiscal year 2023.
I can see, now I'm trying to take over.
It's all right.
Do I have a motion adopting this resolution?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. We'll now get a staff report from Ben.
Good evening, members of the Board of Aldermen. We've got a budget amendment actually in two parts, as you know. The first is a resolution statement of fact, and the second is the actual ordinance that allocates the money. I'd like to take both of them together if I can.
Sure.
The statement of fact is that the contract that deals with the marketing money sets aside city marketing funds of $750,000. That actually was adopted after we adopted the budget. And what this budget amendment does is actually create that line in our budget for 23 so it can be spent or used the way the board wanted to use it. We're lucky enough to have growth in our tourism revenue high enough to where we could plug that in and not miss a beat. So the CVB will have their allocation, just like they presented this week, along with that $750,000 in that line item due to that surplus.
Excellent. Anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this? Any members of the board? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Benton.
Yes.
Denham. Cooper.
Yes.
Howden.
Yes.
Rodriguez. LeBlanc.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 4-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6352, an ordinance amending the adopted 2023 budget for the City of Branson to adjust monies in the Tourism Fund for an increase in marketing expenses and approving the public service agreement with Branson Lakes Area Tourism Community Enhancement District to work together to promote the City of Branson as the official vacation destination of the Kansas City Chiefs and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
So you've heard the first reading of Bill 6352. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll get a staff report from Ben and Holly.
The only addition I'd say is go Chiefs.
Holly, are you online?
No, I'm right here. In red,
In red.
Your Honor. I'm here. This is in regards to a potential for use of the city funds, which are the $750,000 discussed by Mr. Hart, which is reserved pursuant to the city's contract with the CVB, the Branson Lakes Area Chamber of Commerce. That amount is designated as the city market fund, and this would be utilizing that money with an agreement with TCED for the possibility of entering into a contract for a marketing and promotion campaign.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this? Any members of the board? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Excellent.
Thank you, Mayor and Aldermen. It's Mary Kellogg, owner of the Titanic. I just want to voice my opinion because I haven't seen the contract. So I just wanted to present some ideas that we should consider and to make sure that we're vetting this properly, so bear with me. I have some questions regarding this contract. I want you to know that I have not been involved in any of the discussions between Kurt and the other community members he has brought together to pitch the Kansas City Chiefs and Branson opportunity. It may be one of the best packages presented to the community, but I have some questions, and I would like to address the contract. Has a city and a marketing attorney reviewed the contract? Let's start at the very basic. Each campaign and marketing strategy starts with an overall objective and set of goals. I assume this contract covers only the home games, so let's look at it through the eyes of a marketing person and not with our hearts. At the end of the day, if the strategy and the objectives and goal address the needs of the community, we have made sure we have identified the strategy and what is the objective of the decision, and if we have reviewed all the options available with these dollars. Let's look at the first facts. According to the Kansas City Chiefs information available, in 2022, the Kansas City Chiefs recorded an average home attendance of 73,499 spectators. 5 home games would give us an average of 367,500 spectators. As we all know, social media can reach many more guests more efficiently. Kansas City Chiefs strategist is to use almost all social media and local digital. Again, I have not seen the contract, so some of the questions and ideas I may cover right now are already in the contract. Let's review the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs campaign strategy. The entire Kansas City Chiefs campaign is to honor their past and present players with the jersey numbers. This advertising campaign is started through digital billboards and social media. This is a countdown campaign announcing the days until their kickoff. The advertising agency is also giving fans a chance to post pictures on all social media as well as their photos on the digital boards. Their social media platforms currently look like this. Facebook reaches 2.1, Instagram 2.6, and TikTok 3.1. Questions for the contract. Will the city of Branson be allowed to display Branson pictures to support the Kansas City digital billboard campaign? Will Branson's social media be allowed to use their logo to promote our sponsorship? Will our businesses be allowed to use their logo as part of the Branson dollars being used in this sponsorship? Other ideas to consider to be reviewed for the contract. Kansas City is introducing a Red Friday in the honor of the Chiefs. Can we participate in the Chiefs branding of this idea as a sponsor? And food for thought. Maybe Branson invites our guests to create, and these are small, this is a small idea, where Friday's Red Shirt Day, just like the Tennessee Vols, have everyone, including bankers, wearing orange shirts on Friday. Could this be a tradition, and is this allowed to be included in Branson? Is Branson allowed to display the Kansas City new logo flag down 76? What are the boundaries for us to promote this sponsorship? What markets are specifically covered in this contract? Are we allowed to promote in other markets, or is the Kansas City sponsorship logo limited? What are we talking about in the overall branding of the Chiefs? More promotion ideas to consider. Does the Chiefs contract give us tickets for every home game for us to give away to our guests? Plus, a home run in the contract would be to have 2 Super Bowl tickets, and Branson would give away to our guests. Or can we get the main players to visit and create an autograph day in Branson? Overall, big question. With this contract, how many actual Kansas City Chief tickets are being received when we sign this contract? I haven't seen the demos of the Chief spectators, and does it match our visitor profile? And do we get access to the Chiefs database, and how big is it? Can we use it to promote our show attractions? How many times can we use the database? Currently, we have a marketing system set up for all marketing campaigns, which is to review and be approved by the MOC and the TCD, as well as the Board of Aldermen and Women. The check and balances were set up to make sure we didn't make rush decisions. All I ask is this system be honored before we move forward. Like I said, this could actually potentially be a home run contract, But the trust in the community might be lost if we don't do our due diligence and present all the details of what Branson receives for this $1.2 million. The objective of marketing campaigns is to promote a direct strategy with the dollars that we have to reach and fulfill our objectives in a cost-efficient manner. This may be a great contract for the community, but I have not seen it, and I want to make sure that we have vetted it with all the strategy, objectives, and identity that have been identified for what is the right thing for our community. So I'm really asking, have we vetted this contract, and has it gone through MOC for approval, the marketing team, and also with our TCED board? So I ask those questions. So thank you.
Mary, let me start with the big picture. Those that have been involved with the initial concept, the initial conversations, the shaping of the cost benefit has been a group of, and I guess around 12 people. When we made our initial trip to Arrowhead, it included TCD members, it included 4 members from the chamber, it included myself and Aldermen. And some pretty knowledgeable people about Branson. When we looked at all these questions that you ask, have been asked, discussed, and at the end of the day, supported. So I didn't get a chance, you had an awful lot of questions. So part of my answer is, there's a dozen people within CVB, Chamber, TCD, and the city that have reviewed this. Just a few questions that you ask.
Well, the key question, Mayor, is
Yes.
we have a system, and when I was chair, we had to go through that system with every part of our marketing campaign, which included presentation to MOC. They approved it. From there, it went to the TCED. Their board approved it. We came to you. You guys approved it. It appears, transparency, that did not happen, that it is just showing up on the dockets today without any of those necessary steps that we did to prevent a non-vetting, you might say. And I'm not sure that I'm correct on this, but I don't think you had your head of marketing there, as well as Jonas, who's head of all of it, at any of these meetings. I'm not sure that's a true statement, but that's what I've heard.
From the chamber CVB, Cynthia has been involved from the beginning. Sam has been involved from the beginning. Grant has been involved from the beginning. And Pam Yancey has been involved from the
But
beginning.
not your head of marketing, and I just don't understand that. Why would your head of marketing be involved? She represents the whole city, and whatever we do with this contract, fine, but I would think you'd want to integrate it within your own other advertising that we're doing. And if I was head of that marketing, I'd be kind of offended that you didn't ask me to go. I have to control all the budgets. I mean, eventually 1.2 million is just a drop in the bucket for what's going to have to be done. Because you're going to have to change the creative, you're going to have to do all the digital, all the social media. So a lot of other dollars are going to have to go to that, I think. I'm not representing her, but I would think there's additional dollars, because now, if you're going to jump in bed and do this, it's got to be big for the city.
It will be
And
big.
not to have the marketing person makes no sense to me.
You were the president of the chamber, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the current president, you're not the president now, the current president, Cynthia, has been involved.
I understand, but I would always have my marketing person involved when we
That's when you
talk.
were the president, Mary.
No. I'm just voicing that I don't think, on the record, that it was vetted the way we do all of our marketing count.
Fair enough.
That it went and presented to MOC. MOC questioned, nurtured, developed, asked question. From there, it was either approved or not, and then it was sent to TCED, and all those same pushes and shoves were done. That process has not taken place.
That's correct.
Okay, I want to put that on the record.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
The TCD chairman and TCD members were involved from the beginning, very supportive of this agreement.
I'm not saying, I'm not questioning the support. I'm questioning the process
Okay,
that you
that's
make
fair.
them go through.
That's
Okay?
fair.
All right.
Mayor,
Thank you.
could I add one quick thing, if that's
Sure.
okay with you? Mary, thank you so much for being here tonight. What's important, I think, to keep the focus on for this evening's proceedings is what we're looking to do is move dollars from our surplus tourism account into a line item so that we're able to spend that. That's not part of the CVB's contract. One second. But the other thing is the process as far as TCED, we're just getting the board on to be able to visibly show in a meaningful way that should the TCED decide to bless this and move forward with this contract and this marketing tactic, that they would have a willing and equal partner with the city of Branson. So that has yet to happen. Conversations with the TCED and interacting and the contract terms will be between the Kansas City Chiefs and the TCED. Our contract is with the TCED. So it's a minor distinction.
So the contract is a separate contract. It's not going through the chamber agency, because they are the agency.
We don't know that yet. We
Oh.
don't know who's going to handle the actual implementation of the tactic of the Chiefs deal. So none of those decisions have been made yet.
Still doesn't work for me. I just want to go on the record that we've always gone through the process of going through. I lived with it for over a year and a half, working with this. I beat my head against the wall many times because it was so many meetings. And here I learned today that this is happening, and we're just signing a contract. So
Well,
I just-
again, just the contract today is just with us and the TCED.
I
in the-
understand, but
in the event.
it's $1.2 million.
Right, it's 625,000 from the city. That's what our board would be authorizing for the
Okay.
1 year. But again, the process, TCED, that has yet to happen in the coming days.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You bet. Anybody else in the audience?
Hi, I'm Cynthia Carson, and so we were just talking about me up there regarding the involvement in this. And yes, I have had the privilege of being a part of the meetings and that we've gone to Kansas City, and it is an exciting opportunity. I will put on record that, yes, we've had many conversations, lots of individual conversations. There is a concern that I do have, and I have voiced it to all of them, that the process, as Mary has shared, feels broken. I am concerned, and this may be some personal suicide on my relationships with some of you, but I am concerned that we have set forth processes that are feeling broken, as Mary has shared graciously. And, I just want to make sure that we're not doing something, even with this contract prematurely. And so I don't know, it may not be prematurely. I am excited about having an opportunity for us to rally and do something really cool for the city. I'm not, for me personally, I don't feel like I was the right one to be that voice for the chamber or the CVB. I do think that our marketing folks should be present, and I've shared that with everybody. But I want to go on record that we as an agency are willing to support and do what our leaders say that we need, that they feel that they need to do. And that I've been called to pray for the leaders because they've been appointed. So I will support in that sense. But again, I do want to go on record. It's not about support right now. It is about process, and especially for future. That may happen, that I think that I would love for us to continue to build relationships and not have division. And I am concerned this is going to cause division, whether once it gets out to the public, that this has kind of been pushed through a little bit. And I know the TCD still has to sign the contract, but it does concern me how all of it has come about. I do want to get up and rally, but I do have a pause, ethical for me personally, to say, guys, let's stop a little bit and think about what we're doing. So thank you. I do want to support what you guys are doing, but I want to do it right too.
Mayor?
So Cynthia? Kathy, you want to say something?
Well, I just wanted to say, just coming back to what we're doing here tonight, those dollars that we're moving from our excess tourism fund account up into a line item to be able to spend, that's outside the CVB. It's above and beyond the CVB. So all we're doing is we're taking some excess or surplus funds, I should say, that we've raised so far this year, moving them up into an area on paper so that we can spend them at the board's discretion. So that doesn't have to go through an MOC process on the city side of things, or, through that different committees with the TCED. It's a very different situation that the city is talking about tonight.
It is a complex thing, that's for sure.
And just for the record, I know that Rachel and Jonas were not invited when we went to Arrowhead. My understanding is Rachel and Jonas were asked to be included in everything after that initial trip. Do you agree with that or no?
They were asked at the last minute on most of the stuff, yes.
Okay, when you say the last minute, and I've heard that too, they were asked, the first meeting we had after the trip to Arrowhead is when Chris from the Kansas City Chiefs came down. Rachel and Jonas were asked Thursday if they could make a Monday dinner. Were you asked before Thursday if you could make a Monday dinner?
I did make, yeah, no, correct. I was asked on Thursday to make that Monday.
So when the statement's made, and I've heard this several times, that Jonas and Rachel specifically were asked at the last minute, and that's why they couldn't attend, I just want clarity. I was asked at the last minute. I was asked on Thursday. They weren't singled out, saying everybody had a week's notice or 2 weeks' notice on this, and oh, by the way, they were asked at the last minute. So I'm just trying to be transparent.
Yeah, I just want to be transparent on that too, sir, and I'm not sure exactly the date they were asked. I do know that they were not asked, and I did personally call and ask, please ask them. So there is things going on that probably isn't appropriate to be discussing here based on relationships, other than our overall arcing responsibility of how we've set processes in place to vet out marketing tactics and strategies and stuff. And again, I understand, Kathy, thank you for clarity on like, this is about moving the money. That's fine. We have the ability to move the money. I think it's just bigger than just moving the money too, so. Yeah. Not trying to cause division in any way. I just think
okay.
there's.
If you wouldn't mind, other than the traditional process for marketing wasn't followed, it didn't include MOC, for example. Other than the process, do you have any other concerns about having an agreement with the chiefs?
My concern is I don't feel it was vetted out properly to understand fully of spending this kind of money. And with a 5-year contract, I know that, and I don't know where it's going to land because I haven't seen the final contract with the TCD and the Chiefs, but there was, when I was a part of it, it was a big contract. Again, I would, if I was a marketer, take that tactic and voice it to all of our other ideas and tactics. And I do think we as an organization need to come up with some big rock tactics and strategies on like how, because we all want the same thing, increase visitation, increase our revenue. We all want the same thing. There is no doubt about it. And it is going to take some big, hairy, audacious ideas to do that. I really believe that. And I think that, though, if we could take this idea and overlay it with, hey, if we take that million, it's going to be more than $1 million too, with all the money that we'd have to do to execute it. And we would take that and we'd go, is this going to be the biggest bang for our buck, or could we do it differently? Could we, instead of doing this through the stadium with our logo on the banner, could we buy advertising for traditional TV during a game in those states? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a marketer. That's why I felt, even as I was driving to Kansas City or coming back, I said, I want to make sure we have the right people at the table so that we can talk about these marketing things. And quite frankly, I was never a part of a meeting that we really talked about those strategies and how those are really getting the overall, like, is this the best, over bringing in, I don't know, something that we can do nationally on national network somewhere with something. There's all kinds of ideas that we could probably get the right people at tables and talk about ideas. I think it's a great idea. I love the Chiefs. I support, going to everything that we can and bring that brand around if we can, yes. But I'm not sure, because I don't think it was vetted out personally, fully, what we would want to do to make sure we spend that kind of money. And in the grand scheme, like Mary said, it's not a ton of money. It is a ton of money. But I mean, you know, marketing is very expensive. I get that. And a lot of times when we do advertising, it's hard to understand the ROIs with all that. But there are ways to do that.
And it is, excuse me, a 5-year contract adds up to a ton of money.
Yes, sir.
What we're committing to is, from the city side, is $625,000.
Yes.
Our contract is renewable every 5 years, right? So in one hand, you say, let's look at the possible benefits, the branding, the chiefs acknowledging and promoting that Branson is their official tourism destination. The chiefs have 5 million email in their database for Chief Kingdom that they'll be promoting Branson. Just all the things the chiefs will do. Having singers from Branson on national television singing the national anthem. There's so much involved with this package. So the branding and credibility is huge, absolutely huge. I think this is an excellent opportunity. I know there's been discussions of how do we track ROI. My personal opinion from marketing is we won't be able to track this. Samantha said that they have ideas or things in place where there is some tracking they can do. The chiefs tell us there's things they can do for tracking purposes. In my simple brain, I say, somebody shows up to Branson from Kansas City or the Kansas City area, how do we know a TV commercial didn't get them? Or a friend came home and said, hey, you've got to go to Branson, right? So from my analytical brain, you can't track this actually. The only way, in my opinion, we'll be able to track it is increase visitors, and more importantly, increase new visitors. I am convinced with the chief's credibility alongside Branson, there will be people in Chiefs Kingdom, which happens to be a direct overlay to Branson's market. There will be people introduced to Branson because of the chiefs that will be first-time visitors that come here. Our first-time visitor count now is 10%. If something doesn't change there, we're going to die, right? You have to have new people coming in, because if we rely on the 90% of repeaters, they're dying off, right? So we need new visitors. I'm convinced there's going to be chief fans, and they're diehard fans, that are going to say, wow, Branson. It'll be a recognition, a credibility thing of Branson. So do I see that $625,000 is a, quote, risk? I don't see it. If it falls flat on its face and we don't get one visitor, which would be the worst case scenario, right? That we've invested $625,000.
And I understand that with the city, and we will support as if that's the decision. We understand that, and we will do everything we can to make this work and to be rallying it and be excited about it. I think just as on record, I just would, as you know, because I think the precedence is being set. If another great big idea comes up, will it just go through like this too, or are we going to work together collectively in maybe a different way, I think is all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Ann McDowell, McDowell Consulting. I have been involved in marketing this destination for more years than I want to admit to all of you this evening, 30 plus, I guess now. And I remember when the city of Branson had only the city of Branson's tourism tax to do marketing. So, and back then it was $1 million plus, finally grew to $3 million. I was part of forming and getting the tax passed for the tourism district when we got into the $10 million to market this destination. All of that good and positive. I still don't think $750,000 is loose change. I think it's a lot of money. I think it's a big, big investment. So I just wanted to clarify a couple of things that have been said based on my history with these dollars and with this process. This may be excess money, as you said, Kathy, in the tourism tax collections, because thank goodness we've had 2 amazing years in Branson, Missouri, and that is not because we haven't been doing good marketing, right? That's happened for a number of reasons, as always, but good marketing has been done, and we've had 2 great years. Every year that I've been involved, the excess money that accumulates, it always accumulates in that account, maybe more this year than in previous years, but there's always a little extra because we have to estimate what those collections are going to be, and we like to be conservative because you can't spend more than you make, so there's always excess money that accumulates there, and that money in years past has always then been allocated at a later date to the CVB contract for the community collective marketing campaign. So those dollars would, if not used for this contract, would likely go to the CVB, at least if the last 30 years are an indicator. That's how it's always been handled, just so you know. And I wanted to express, I totally agree with Mary's process question and Cynthia's as well. But I think there's another question here. I think this is a lot of money. I think this is a huge opportunity. Go Chiefs. I love the Chiefs. I did a little research into who NFL fans are. It's a big number. There's a lot of folks out there. There is tremendous potential for this. I'm concerned that we're doing it so quickly. The football season's about to start. This is not a small undertaking to really do and to do well. And to get more people involved in the community, like the Mary Kellogg's, like the folks that were here years ago when we had a major sponsorship from MasterCard. And that was a tremendous community effort and a huge activation that did a lot of good for our area. I don't see how in August we write a check and we're going to get the benefit of it from a season that, while there's NFL fans year-round, I know Christy and John are Chiefs fans year-round, but the real opportunity, of course, is during the season and may indeed be during the home games. And we don't have much time to really do it well and to make sure Branson shines. I'd love to see us do it for the 24 year and start working on it right now and make sure that we're pulling the best resources from the community together and working together to make it phenomenal. Because I do think it's a great idea. I just hate to rush a great idea. You know, Mary will tell you too that she's planning probably now for 2026 to try to do something this year with this much money and this important. Makes me very nervous. So that's all I had to say. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience want to share?
Good evening, Your Honor, members of the board, Kathy, everybody else. I just want to say that I'm going to turn 55 here in about 3 months. And for 31 years of that time period, I had resided inside the city limits of Branson. So I care deeply about my hometown. I was raised here. This is where my roots are. This is where I'm raising my kids. So just know that, right? And I want everything we do to be super successful. Everything we do. I just want it to be successful. I want us to knock it out of the park every time. Now, personally, since Mary pulled the fandom string about the Tennessee Vols, Alderman Howden, I would be really excited, and I think Alderman Cooper would agree, that if this was the Cowboys. But it is the Chiefs. Hey, come on. It is the Chiefs. And I just want to be on record to say, regardless of how all this goes, what's happened, that to me, I'm indifferent, right? I want this to be successful. And I want you all to know that as a team, as an organization, we're here to help. to do whatever we can to make this successful. So I just want you to know that.
Thank you, Jonas.
That was Jonas Argis for the record. Good.
That's a clicker. Anybody else would like to address the board?
I don't want to talk your
It's never good news when the police comes up and addresses the board. Come on, Mary. Wait till you get to the mic, please.
There's only
I just
one
wanted to
Mary in
wait.
Branson.
No, I wanted you to wait to get to the mic so everybody can hear you. That's
I know, I'm doing it. Okay. Thank you, Mayor. I want to reassure, as Jonas has, whatever happens, we will all be behind it. And we want to make it big. I just want to make sure the contract allows us to do all we can do, that there are not limitations if we're going to go with this contract. The big note that Ann said is, how do we make this all happen within 3 weeks? It is a big undertaking, and you're going to need this agency to make this happen. And so you need to help bring that team together that wants this contract and has gone after it, which is great. Make sure we look through the contract. Your main people have not seen the contract. I suggest that you all sit down with a session once, if you're going to sign this, and then allow us to look at it so that we could all go to work on this thing.
Mary, we would love nothing more than to all hold hands, rally behind this, and move forward. I appreciate the fact that this has come together relatively quickly. The chiefs have assured us they've got some pretty high marketing people.
Yeah, well, you do too, that understand Branson, so I understand
I'm
that.
not saying their people are smarter than our people.
I'm not saying that
I'm just
either.
suggesting the chiefs have pretty high marketing people, and they have so many things teed up in advance.
Okay, well, we don't know that, so,
I understand that.
okay. Just wanted to go on the record to say we will support it.
How beneficial, how healthy would it be for our chamber and CVB to embrace and really want to embrace this marketing plan? We wouldn't want nothing more
I just don't know
than
what's
that.
in the contract. I don't know what my limitations are.
Mary, the CVB has seen the contract.
Okay. Well, if it's
I know
gone through
you
the
may-
process, while we've gone through the process, we would have attended one of those meetings to just hear what the contract said. That's all.
When you say we,
Me.
okay, I can tell you the CVB has seen this contract. We've commented on this contract. We've had meetings with the attorneys and the chiefs about this contract.
And did the head of marketing see it? I mean, I don't know. Did the head of
Has
marketing?
the head of marketing seen this contract? You want to come up, Rachel? So nobody online can hear what you're saying, so I'm going
It
to...
was emailed to Kurt.
Okay, and Kirk shared it with Jonas,
Right.
right? So they didn't email it to you, but they've emailed it to Jonas, who's the head of
I
marketing.
understand. Okay. It just didn't go through the process like I thought it should, that's all. I keep saying that, I'm not going to repeat it again.
It didn't go through MOC.
Well, did it go through an official board at TCED, or did it go through Derek, who was the president at the time?
Derek has been involved. Derek has been very supportive. I want you to realize what we're doing here tonight. We're not making a final commitment tonight. We're saying to the TCED, should you approve it, Branson's commitment's right behind you.
Okay.
We're not saying we're doing this chiefs agreement. This still has to go to TCD for
And
approval.
when are they going to see it? Do you know?
When are they going to see what?
When are they going to approve this?
I'm not on TCD. I'm trusting they've had.
The time is so essence that this is going to happen.
I know the TCD has I don't know if it's an executive meeting, but they have a meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Waiting, I don't know if they're waiting. Ideally, from my point of view, I wish the TCD would have addressed this, and if they approved it, it comes to the city.
Right, correct.
Well, the city's going to approve, if we approve this tonight, it then goes to the TCED. We're not signing the contract with
So if
the
the
Kansas City
TCED
Chiefs.
doesn't approve it, then it's over.
If the TCD doesn't approve it, then the TCD won't be participating. The city of Branson still has an opportunity to
Okay.
do things. The city, today,
Okay,
listen, the city of Branson is not on the signature line with the contract for the Kansas City Chiefs.
TCED.
TCD is.
Okay, but if they don't, then your signature will be on it.
That's an option.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, thank
We
you.
need to include you with more meetings.
Pardon me?
We need to include you in more meetings.
Okay.
Anybody else in the audience have anything to share? Any members of the board have, yeah. Now, wait a minute, keep in mind, we have a motion on the table. I'm surprised my attorney hasn't beaten me up yet. We have a motion, and what we're discussing is approving a bill.
We did that. It was read, and there's a motion second on the floor.
But what we're the bill that's discussed is to adjust monies for the tourism fund
And approve the contract with
and approve the contract with
the TCE.
the TCED. Okay, fair enough. So do any members of the board have any comments about approving the transfer of funds and the agreement, the contract between the city and the TCED?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
So you're looking at 4 aldermen, one that's a Cowboys fan, Saints fan, Tennessee Titans, my beloved Tennessee Vols have been mentioned multiple times, and then I believe Cody cares more about the Arkansas Razorbacks than anything
And
else.
Kathy's a Green Bay Packer.
And Kathy's a Green Bay Packers fan.
Full disclosure, I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
There you go, Mr. Mayor. There you go. So mine isn't coming from the heart. I believe this is a good opportunity for the city of Branson. And since we're going on the record, I just want to say that when I advocate for Ozark Mountain Christmas, when I advocate for Faith Family Flag, we may have gotten pushback from MOC, but I make those decisions as an alderman that I believe that are best for the city. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I have comments, but my mature brain says zoop. Any other aldermen have comments? Clay, do you want to share anything? Are you watching a show? Any comments there, Mr. Cooper?
I'm watching the city show right now.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm just kind of, I wasn't quite expecting this. I wasn't expecting it to go this way, really. I mean, all I can say is, yeah, obviously I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan my whole life, and when I had the opportunity to go to Kansas City and take the tour and see, you know, see the city of Branson logo on the big, you know, Videotron and the LED reader board that goes around the stadium and see all the things that they are offering and the partnership that they're wanting to get in bed with the city of Branson, I was just, I was flabbergasted. I mean, I see this as a huge opportunity for the city of Branson. Just having the city of Branson logo next to that Kansas City Chief brand, to me, just the credibility in that alone just is a huge wow factor. And I see Mary's point to, you know, she hasn't seen the contract, so maybe she doesn't know all the details in the contract, and I get that. I can understand her asking questions because she she hasn't been there through it all, but we've been there. I went to Arrowhead. I've been in 3 or 4 or 5 other meetings about this since that time, and I feel I've seen the city spend money on a lot of things that I don't know that has the opportunity to have this kind of return that this opportunity does. And I feel like you say, Mayor, I mean, new business is very important to Branson, and I think this is stepping way out of the box and trying something different with a big major brand. And I mean, I support it fully, and that's really all I have to comment.
Thank you, Clay. Cody?
I had a few questions. Ann mentioned something about, and not that I don't trust Ann, but she mentioned something about this money historically going to the CVB. So I'm not aware of that, and I just was curious how that has historically worked, if there is surplus. And so that's kind of part one of the question. I guess part two of the question is, if we do this and we commit to this, are we precluding ourselves from using that money to bolster Ozark Mountain Christmas or some of the other, marketing things that we do? So that's, I guess, my first question. I don't know who wants to address that.
Yeah, let me address that. Traditionally, for many years, the city of Branson's tourism tax collection, our calendar year ends December 31st. And so the city says to the chamber, here's how much money you have to market for the following year. And then there's a true-up, if you will. So because we don't know what the actual number is until we get into March, if you will, for the books to close, the majority of the time there's excess funds. So the city says, we think we're gonna bring in $3 million. Chamber, we're telling you that you can put to use $3 million. Then in March, actually, that's just been a recent change, but today, then in March, the city says, okay, we told you it was $3 million, but it was really 3.4, so now you can add another 400,000. And just as a reminder, prior to this board, the CVB had to wait a year for those excess funds. Did you know that? If there was, Rachel shaking her head, yes, Cynthia. If there was an extra 300,000, it wouldn't be until the following year the CVB was allowed to use those funds. This board thought that was ridiculous. We changed it to say, the minute we know, the minute it's handed out, right? So every year, most years, there's been what we're using the term surplus to say, okay, chamber, here's the money you can use. What we're talking about this year is, last year, the city's commitment was $4 million. Okay. So what we're talking about is looking at next year's budget. We are fully projecting the chamber will have at least $4 million going into next year. This rollover, this excess amount we're talking about, that's the amount of money we're looking to earmark for this particular contract. So, two statements are true. There's no money taken away from the CVB. CVB is going to be able to honor everything they've already committed to. If we don't do this contract, would the CVB have this extra money next year to spend on something else? Yes. But it's not taking anything away from what they've been doing.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That was the first time I'd kind of heard that that's how the money, this surplus money has historically worked. So, all right, I think that was my first question. My second question, and these are maybe directed at Holly, I'm not sure. In here it talks about the city. Let me back up. So, I've tried to take my fan goggles off because, I think like most everybody, this is an exciting opportunity, and I am a Woo Pig Suey. Thank you, Marshall. So that's my passion. If this were the Razorbacks, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. I'd be like, what are we waiting on, right? So, I've tried to set that aside. I've tried to set aside, the excitement about it and kind of just think through this. Okay. So my next question is, Holly, in here it talks about, with the TCD contract specifically, it says, upon execution of this agreement, the TCD shall contract with the Kansas City Chiefs Football Club. I think I've heard through the comments that, so somebody has seen this eventual contract. Obviously, we all haven't, but that has been seen. We do know what would be forthcoming if we approve this and the TCD moves forward on their side. So that's my question, I guess.
Yes.
So that,
Well, Holly and I.
Yes, there are some tweaks that are occurring.
No running in the chambers.
Scuttling. I only scuttle. Yes, there is a base contract. I believe there are some aspects of it that are being tweaked. So we know the basic concept of it. We know most of the meat of it. I believe there are a couple of language aspects that are being changed. Other than that, we are aware of what it potentially will be. Again, it wouldn't be a contract until both of them come to terms and sign.
sure, but if we approve this, we're basically giving TCD sort of blanket authority to finalize that deal, right?
No, what we are agreeing is that if TCED enters into the contract with the Chiefs, that we will fund part of it, half of it, and we secure our portion of decision-making in that contract through this agreement. So it would not be just TCED making decisions, it would be TCED working with the city and making decisions in regards to the execution of the contract.
Okay, so the execution. So in other words, if TCD says, yeah, we want to move forward to, the final negotiation of the actual Chiefs contract would involve the city. Because that's not how I read this agreement, and so I think you and I can maybe appreciate this. As an attorney, it struck me as odd that we're contracting to give somebody else the ability to contract. You see what I'm saying?
It's a third-party beneficiary.
Yeah, I understand that.
And not uncommon to have third-party beneficiaries.
Sure, and I understand that. I just want to make sure we had at least seen the basic framework. But again, it's TCD that would have the final decision-making authority on the actual execution of that contract.
Yes, and tonight, again, as the mayor had pointed out a couple of times, tonight is authorizing us, if TCED receives the authority and completes the negotiation, that we then, so it's kind of a step one, step two, it's contingent upon that contract. We're not giving them the money no matter what. If they don't enter into the contract, we would not go forward.
Sure. But let's say, and just hypothetically, in this third-party beneficiary contract, as we know it, I mean, TCD could say they could enter into terms with the Chiefs of whatever they want, essentially, and we're saying we're going to come to the table and be a party to that, correct?
I don't believe so, because your authority in this ordinance, which is a bill currently, is for authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with TCED in consideration of a contract with the Chiefs. If in those negotiations, TCED agrees to a contract and the mayor sees that contract and the decision is that it's different in kind than what we believe it to be, then that would be beyond his authority you're giving today. You're giving him authority for the agreement as it is attached based on the authority of the agreement that we believe is going to be executed between the Chiefs and TCED. By it being contingent, by you giving him the authority to execute something similar to this, the language in section 1 of, and I didn't bring it over with me, it's over there, but that section 1 gives that authority to execute in the similar fashion of that which is attached. So if there are tweaks that are substantial that we need to renegotiate, that are not a substantial aspect to the contract, he still would have the authority without having to come back to this body. So we're trying to create it in a system where we're not having 27 meetings for each step. There's quite a few steps here, and obviously it's difficult to get all of them together because there's two bodies that are making this decision. In the best case scenario, certainly TCED agreeing to partake and agreeing on the contract first would be helpful. And that would be best case scenario. We're not in that position. We're in the position of saying, TCED, if you can get into this contract, we'll partner with you. City of Branson will partner with TCED to be able to fund it. But decision makings of the contract would be made by the two parties, a representative of TCED and a representative of the city, in good faith, working to execute for the benefit of the city of Branson.
So the city would be a signer on the chief's contract then?
No, we would not.
Okay. I guess I'm not tracking then, and maybe I'm tired. I don't know. It's been a long week.
The decision maker in the contract with the chiefs and TCED is TCED. TCED agrees in this contract with us that those decisions that they make will be made in cooperation with the city, made by those two partners.
Okay. All right, I'm tracking you now. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. I'm tired. Third question is, in this TCD contract between the city and TCD, it talks about the ability to terminate for any reason or no reason. Is that going to be carried over to the chief's contract as well? So in other words,
Yes.
if after this, okay. All right.
Yes, it has the same time constraints. There are certain concepts of this that are modeled, the payment, the installment plans mirror that which is in the chief's contract. So it's same monies due at the same time. Those costs are split down the middle, 50% costs. So there's the postseason consideration. So our portion is that which is represented in this contract. And the ability to terminate and the effective date of that termination mirrors that in the contract in the table on page 4.
All right. I think that's all.
Thank you. Kathy?
Thank you, Mayor. To Alderman Fenton's first question about that $750,000 number, in our contract that we have currently with the CVB, the city is authorized in that to take from that tourism pot of money from the city collection and put up to $750,000 per year into a fund that then we have discretion over how that gets implemented. So that was an important piece of this, that we've had that contract language that's currently existing in there.
Yeah, and I understood that. I just didn't know if that money that is set aside has historically been just given to the CVB to further their marketing efforts, or if it's been held by the city and the city's done something on its own. That was the question I was trying to get at.
Okay. Yeah, and, you know, I'm not familiar with if the city has gone out and done something, you know, in addition or used those dollars in the past. You all would probably have more historical reference there. But I just felt it was really important to emphasize that we're not looking to take anything away from CVB. This is money that you guys authorize, or a board of aldermen and a mayor have authorized that the city would have discretion on those funds. And that doesn't mean that we wouldn't use CVB. That's the other thing I just want to remind everybody. It doesn't mean we wouldn't use them to help us implement those, or to, you know, activate and realize activities from that investment. So that's yet to be decided in consultation with TCED in the event that they move forward. Thank you.
Alderman LeBlanc, share some words of wisdom.
Go Saints.
Oh, what?
No, just kidding. You know, when I seen this opportunity, you know, obviously the branding component of it is kind of what stood out to me. And, you know, the Chiefs have, you know, over the past several years have been that championship caliber type team. to say that it's just a home game situation. I mean, those guys are prime time almost every single weekend. I mean, they're playing at that level. So, the idea of exposure and eyeballs on Branson, it's what kind of opened up the idea to me that, wow, what an opportunity. And, and kind of just going off with Kathy, I was kind of having a little sidebar with her because, I just wanted to be clear that we weren't withdrawing money from what you guys are, the CVB was already doing, that this was, the board's discretion. There's a fund in there, because, earlier, actually a couple weeks ago, or a month ago, we did $100,000 for the, for the wall for first responders and veterans and things like that. And so to me, that was kind of what drove me to this, was that, this board has an opportunity to truly collaborate with what you guys are doing, and for all intents and purposes, like, be more interactive with what you guys are doing, because I think in the past it's really not been done. I mean, I don't know how much engagement you guys like or dislike with what we do, but we're entrusted by the residents of the community to be good stewards and come up with ideas and collaborate with you guys as being the experts in it. And this is an opportunity for that to happen. I mean, I think we've made some inroads over the past several months that have really been very positive. And this is just, maybe it's a big step, but, you guys swing the bat, hit a grand slam, and I think it'd be a grand slam opportunity for us, and you guys supporting us. And I really, truly, take Jonas for his word. I've known Jonas for quite a long time, and many of you I'm just learning and meeting, but the idea that you guys would say that you're going to support our decision, I really, truly hope that you mean that, because that's what it takes, because we're at an opportunity now, and, we just had our budget presentation, and, we're starting to see that leveling off, where we had that one really big, good year, and a little bit of growth, and more growth, and more growth, and now we're starting to see that, that 1.5%, 2% growth, or 1% growth, which is what we operate on, but we're seeing that increase, and I think this is an opportunity for us to just kind of springboard, and what better opportunity than to use the Kansas City Chiefs as a championship caliber team to, embrace them and really just let them kind of expose us in the way they do. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity, and, I'm 100% for it. I was a diehard Saints fan, and even in the rotten years, but I love the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I love the excitement about it. I love this community, and I think the residents of the community are would truly embrace it if we move forward with it. So that's all.
A few comments that I've been told over these last few months is there's some inherent values. Mr. Hunt, who's the owner of the Chiefs, is a very religious man. He feels connected to Branson. He feels the values that Branson hold are similar to the values he holds. I'm told that the average NFL team has 129, 139, quote, partnerships. Chiefs have 69 partnerships, much more selective of who they partner with. If we end up doing this, we would be partner number 70. So we're told that the Chiefs have been asked by Lake of the Ozarks, for example, to be a official tourism destination of the Chiefs. We're told that Mr. Hunt and the president of the Chiefs, they don't share the same values. Lake of the Ozark, a little bit on the wild side, it doesn't hold the same values that Branson does. So at the very top level of the Chiefs, they're excited to partner with the city of Branson. And I think that goes a long way. I can tell you in every single discussion that we have had with chief representatives with their legal counsel and our legal counsel in the same room, there has been nothing but cooperating support. There hasn't been one side's trying to get a better deal than the other. It's an issue comes up, what's best for the, and so my comfort level kept increasing as I was listening to their quote negotiations, right?
Mr. Mayor? I just-
Yeah,
you know,
I've
diehard
already
Chi-
had your turn.
I know, but diehard Chiefs fan text me, just some stats really quick. Super Bowl had 115 million viewers, 115 million viewers. On average, the Chiefs have 15 million viewers nationwide during their games. That's pretty significant.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? What happened to Mr. Cooper?
He's right there. Whoa, hello.
You driving the bus? Keep your eyes on the road, my friend. Okay, so we're at the point where we're going to vote, and Hillary, I'm trusting you're going to want a roll call vote.
Yes, sir.
Would you take a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. Fenton,
Yes.
Denham, Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
Rodriguez, LeBlanc.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 4-0. Motion carries.
Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6352 for its final reading due to timing.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak to this matter? Any aldermen? Madam Clerk, would you please provide a roll call vote?
I'm so sorry. Let's do, yes, I will do a roll call vote. I'm sorry. Fenton,
Yes.
Denham, Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
Rodriguez, LeBlanc.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 4-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, this is
Go ahead.
the final reading of Bill number 6352, an ordinance amending the adopted 2023 budget for the city of Branson to adjust monies in the tourism fund for an increase in marketing expenses and approving the public service agreement with the Branson Lakes Area Tourism Community Enhancement District to work together to promote the city of Branson as the official vacation destination of the Kansas City Chiefs and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
You've heard the final reading of Bill 6352. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this? Any aldermen? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you provide a roll call vote?
Fenton,
Yes.
Denham, Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
Rodriguez, LeBlanc.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 4-0. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill number
Hold on a
6.
sec.
Yep,
We're
sorry.
moving on to a real estate thing. It won't take us long. I just wanted you to know that we're moving on to a real estate. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill number 6353, an ordinance approving the vacant land sale contract with Victor Manuel Roscus Hernandez for the sale of 210 Quebec Drive and authorizing the mayor to execute the documents related thereto.
You've heard the first reading of Bill 6353. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Now we'll get a staff report from Holly.
Good evening. Your Honor, this is regarding a .92 acres of land at 210 Quebec Drive. It was listed at $59,000. We have an offer of $50,000. This is requesting an ordinance to approve acceptance of the offer as well as authorization for the mayor to execute the contract as well as execute the sale.
Little clarity on this. This was a .9 acre piece of land out by our station, fire department number 4. It was originally purchased for a fire department. We now have our fire department's under construction, so we no longer have a need or a use for this acreage. Like Holly said, we engaged the services of my friend,
Lenora Kay.
Lenora Kay, thank you. Lenora recommended a list price of $59. As Holly said, we an offer of $50. So that's just a little bigger picture. So is there anybody in the audience have any questions or comments about this? Questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you provide a roll call vote?
Benton,
Yes.
Denham, Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
Rodriguez, LeBlanc.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 4-0, motion carries.
Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6353 for its final reading due to timing.
Have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody in the audience wishing to address this issue? Any members of the board? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you provide a roll call vote, please?
Benton,
Yes.
Denham, Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
Rodriguez, LeBlanc.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 4-0, motion carries. Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill number 6353, an ordinance approving the vacant land sale contract with Victor Manuel Rasquez Hernandez for the sale of 210 Quebec Drive and authorizing the mayor to execute the documents related thereto.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this? Any members of the board? Madam Clerk, would you please provide a roll call vote?
Benton,
Yes.
Denham, Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
Rodriguez, LeBlanc.
Yes.
Result of the vote is 4-0, motion carries.
Thank you. Are there any aldermen wishing to provide any reports? Do I have a motion to adjourn this Board of Aldermen meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, provide a roll call vote, please.
Benton,
Yes.
Denham, Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
Rodriguez, LeBlanc.
Yes.
Result of the vote is 4-0, motion carries.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.